So let's start with first function, which is the index. So here we need to get all the QR codes created by the currently logged in user. And since we did not add the registration and login yet, so let's get all the QR codes and we can use the paginate and get 10. Okay, so we'll update later the code once we add the registration and login. Let's return the view that we will create later, and the view, let's add it inside folder QR codes. The name is index, and we send the QR codes. So next, what we have? So we have the create. Let's move down. So here for the create, so it will return create view, and we don't need to send here anything. So only the create view. So next we have star. So let's do something. Let's create validation requests for store and update. So PHP artisan make a request. Let's call it add QR code request and hit enter. And we need another one. So this one will be for the update. So we have update and add. So once added, so now we can use the add QR code request. So don't forget to import it here. And let's see what we have else. So once the data is validated, so let's define variable here and get all the validated data. So now we have validated data. So next we need to add the user ID. So since we did not add login yet, so let's use only one for now. Okay, so we'll update it later. Next we need to create QR code, and using the model, which is the QR code, can call create method and give it the data. So now we have created QR code, but as I said, so we need to save the QR code. Okay, so now we have only added content with the user ID, but we need also to update the path. So the path that we made nullable. So that's why we have added here the QR code path nullable. So we can here create QR code, and once created, so we can here update QR code path. But we will do that later because we need to add a package, and once done, so we need to decrement the user number of QR codes. Okay, and also we'll do that later. And finally we return and we redirect, or let's use two routes, and we send the user to QR codes dot index. So we'll add this route later, and here we send the success message telling our user that the QR code added successfully. Okay, so let's see what we have else. So for sure we will not need it, so we don't add anything inside. So for the edit, let's move to the edit. So for the edit, we need to send user to the edit form with so let's add here with and we send QR code that we want to edit. So we can use the QR code that we have here. Okay. Next, we have the updates, and updates will be the same as the store. So here, let's change it from request to updates. So updates QR code request, which is the validation request that we have added. So here first, as we have done, we validate data, we add user ID, so here instead of calling create, so we call updates, and we give it data, and we will do the same thing. So we will update the QR code path and decrement the user number of QR codes, and finally display a message telling the user that QR code has been updated successfully. Okay. Next, we need the delete. So let's copy from here. So let's move here and paste. So we have the QR code that we want to delete. So we'll delete it. But before we delete it, so we need so what we need to do, we need to remove the QR code from storage. So no need to keep it, okay? Because we have removed QR code. And here once, so we don't need to do anything else here. So once deleted, or let's do something, let's add here, delete the QR code. Here, let's remove the QR code image, okay, image from storage, and here we delete the QR code from our database, okay. And here, let's change it from updated to deleted successfully, okay. So for now, these are all the functions. So next, as I said, so we need to add two more functions. So one for saving QR code inside our storage, and another one for removing the QR code, okay? And to create the QR code and save it, so we will use a package called Android QR code. So this package is popular. So as you can see here, we have almost 55 million installs. So now we have 6.0.9 version. So if you are coming from the future, so use the same version as mine, so to not have conflict or problem between versions, okay. So to install it, just copy from here and move to your terminal here and paste, okay. So while it's installing, let's add our functions. This one, as I said, so what we'll do, it will save or let's call it create and save the QR code in storage. So public function and name, let's name it save QR code, and it will receive the QR code. So because we need content, so we will use the QR code. The QR code that we have created here, so this one, so we will send it to this function here. So we can use the content as the content of our QR code, okay? And let's do something. So I will, because the code is a little bit bigger, so I will copy and paste it and explain everything. So I will use the same thing that they have here, so you can read the docs if you want to use usage using the builder or without the builder. So there is a lot of examples here, you can read about them. So we'll use with the builder, okay. So I will paste the code as I said, and I will explain each line, okay? So let's paste the code. So here is our code. So you can find the link to the source code inside the description of this video. You can copy and paste it here. So we'll use the builder as we have seen in the docs. So first we generate the QR code. So we need to import this class. And to import it, we can use the Android QR code builder, okay? And also we need the PNG writer, so we can create the image as PNG, okay? So if you move to the top, so here we have the two imports. So let's move down. So as I told you, so here we will create an image as PNG and the data, which is the QR code content. So the contents that the user has added for QR code will be the data of the QR code or the image that we have generated, okay? And here we have the size, so we give it 155. And next we use the builder to build the QR code. Next we define the path, so where we will store the QR code. So we give it the path, which is folder, so we give it the name QR codes, and we will use the ID of the QR code .png, okay? So if the QR code ID is number 1, so the image name will be 1.png, okay? So this is the meaning of this line. Next we use storage. So let's use support facade, illuminate support facade storage. So we used storage and we will save the QR code inside the public folder, which means here inside storage. So here inside the public folder, so we will add QR codes folder, okay, and we give it QR code path, which is the path that we have defined, and QR code get string, and this get string method, so only we will give it name, okay, name to this QR code, okay, and return, finally we return the file path. So we return the file path so we can save it inside our database. So here when we create the QR code, okay, so now we can use this function. So let's do something. So we have here the QR code that we have created. So now we can use this so-called function that we have, but before we do that, before we call the function, so here we are updating the QR code path, okay, and here we call the function that we have created, which is save QR code, and we give it the QR code, okay, which is the QR code that we have stored. So for the incrementing number or the user number of QR code, so we'll do that later once we reach the registration and login. And we need to do the same thing here inside our update. So once the user updates the QR code, okay? So what left? So we need another function. So this function, as we have said before, will remove QR code from our storage. So let's copy and paste. So here we can let's name it. So instead of create, let's use remove QR code from storage. Okay, and so what we will do here, or let's first rename it to remove QR code from storage. Remove QR code from storage. So let's first get the path, which is the path of the QR code. So it will be inside the public path. And here, so you will receive the QR code, not QR code, but QR code file, which is the path of the file. which is the file that we have stored here. Okay, so we will get the path using this file, which is the path that we have stored inside our database. So once we have the path, so now we can check if it exists using file class and calling the exists method, and we give it the path. So if it exists, what we will do, so we will remove it, so we can use the file again and call the delete method and give it the path. Okay, so now we are done. So let's first call, or let's import the class from illuminate support facades file. So let's go to the top. So here is all the imports. Okay, so as I said, first we get the file path that we have stored inside our database, and next we check if it exists, we remove it. If not, we will do nothing. Okay, so now we can use this method inside our delete function. So here inside the delete, so when we or before we remove or we delete QR code from our database, so we call the method which is remove QR code from storage, and we give it, as I said, the path that we have stored inside our database using QR code path. Okay, so now we are done. So we send the path to our function that we have defined here, and we remove the file. Okay, so now we are done with our controller. So what is left? So we need to add so before we add a new QR code, so let's first add validation rules for each or for the QR codes. And also we need to add the routes. Okay,